DW Africa Link.
Hello and happy International Women's Day to all you ladies out there. Today, like every other day, we celebrate ourselves. Welcome to DW's Africa Link program from our studios here in Bonn, Germany. I'm your host, Josie Mahachi.
And I am Eddie Micah Jr. We celebrate all the African queens who have massively contributed to the growth of the continent and the world as a whole. Join us live on our Facebook page, DW Africa, and help us celebrate women today.
And as the saying goes, behind every successful man, there is a woman. So coming up, we'll look at the powerful women behind Nigeria's President-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu and how he appreciates them.
So you women who are gathered here today, you are behind, you are in the front, you are ready to fight for us, to elevate our life. You are great.
Josie, you are great.
Yes,
so we'll take it up from there. But unfortunately, we still live in a world where women are still fighting to be equal with men. We hear from an expert on how Africa compares to the rest of the world.
The situation in sub-Saharan Africa is similar, where you will see a higher unemployment rate or a rate of women looking for work than for men. And we also see a similar trend when we look at young women and young men in sub-Saharan Africa.
Make sure to stick around for more on this after the world news in brief.
DW News.
Hello, I am Okeri Ngushinado. Prosecutors in the trial of 6 people accused of murdering Italy's ambassador to DRC Congo in 2021 have requested the death penalty for the suspects. Luca Antanasio, Italy's former ambassador to the DRC, was among 3 people killed on the 22nd of February 2021 when a UN convoy was ambushed in the country's troubled east. The other fatalities were the driver and an Italian police officer. Protesters have clashed with police in Georgia's capital, Tbilisi, after Parliament backed a controversial draft law which critics say limits press freedom and suppresses civil society. The law would require media outlets and non-governmental organizations that receive more than 20% of their funding from foreign sources to register as agents of foreign influence. Hatia Jinjinkache from the Open Society Georgian Foundation Media Support says the law will be a disaster for the country.
This law we see as a disaster for Georgia because this is how it has started in Russia and this is where our government is leading us to. This law is a serious impediment to Georgia's European future, and it comes in the moment when Georgia is expecting candidacy status.
Officials in Georgia say 66 people were arrested on Wednesday. Africa Link comes to you from Germany's international broadcaster, DW. The Russian paramilitary group Wagner is claiming that it has captured the eastern part of the Ukrainian city of Bakhmut. The city has been at the center of intense fighting over the past several weeks, despite military experts saying it has little strategic value for Russia. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has said losing it could give the Russians a path to take more territory. And finally, Pope Francis thanked women for their commitment to a more humane society at a general audience held on the occasion of this year's International Women's Day. Pronouncing a further blessing for them, the Pope further appealed for more equal opportunities for women and men in every context.
On International Women's Day, I think of all women. I thank them for their commitment to building a more humane society through their ability to grasp reality with a creative eye and a tender heart. A special blessing for all women in the square and a round of applause for women. They deserve it.
This year's International Women's Day is being celebrated under the theme Digital All, Innovation and Technology for Gender Equality. That's the latest news and a happy International Women's Day. I am Okeri Ngushinado.
You're listening to a special International Women's Day edition of DW's Africa Link Show with the theme Embrace Equity. My name is Josie Mahachi.
And I am Eddie Micah Jr. Thank you all for connecting with us through our partner stations across Africa and live on our Facebook page, DW Africa. Kintu Musa says you're listening live from Masaka, Kinoni. Ben Shimang says, we men celebrate women. May every moment be thine. Okay, that's a very powerful way to put it. And others are giving you direct shouts. Happy International Women's Day, Josie.
Yes.
All of you guys are very welcome to the program.
Thank you, Lambert Kevin, as well. Now, as Beyonce said, girls run the world. But sometimes you will never know unless you dig into it. In the recent presidential elections in Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu was declared winner. But who are the women that paved the way for him to get this far? That's
exactly what we're going to look at. Who are these women, and what has been the relationship between Nigeria's president-elect and women? Samuel Ukoya in Lagos has been finding out.
Excited women hailing Nigeria's president-elect Bola Tinubu by his nickname Jagaban, which means a warrior. He appreciates them just the way they appreciate him.
So you women who are gathered here today, I'm so proud. If you leave me alone on this stage, I will talk my excitement, my happiness, my joy that you are behind, you are in the front, you are ready to fight for us, to elevate our life. You are great. You are beautiful too.
Tinubu has often mentioned his wife, Oluremi, as one of the women who aided his elevation. Many have described her as an Amazon, a philanthropist, grassroots mobilizer, and seasoned politician. The three-time senator has stood firmly with her husband in his political battles.
Now, my darling wife, she has been a very strong pillar of support. A sweetheart, a very humble, respectable wife, and a pastor for that matter.
Tinubu's late mother, Abibatu Mogaji, addressing a crowd at a political rally 30 years ago. She was the President General of Association of Nigerian Market Women and Men. She was a politician who used her position as a leader of market men and women to mobilize people at the grassroots. Many say she's the woman who set the stage for Tinubu's political career. Bolanle Olushola, who worked with Tinubu on the presidential campaign, had this to say.
He loves women to participate actively in politics and governance. He's a man who believes so much in empowering the woman and the girl child. Ashwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu is that man who stands by women, and he loves women very much, especially even the women at the campaign. I'm talking about the presidential campaign council. Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu reserve, hold the women to a very high esteem.
Aderonke Ogunleye Bello also worked with Tinubu on his presidential campaign. She says Tinubu has a track record of empowering women.
As a governor of Lagos State, he had the highest number of female permanent secretaries in a state in Nigeria, and he was the first ever to have such a number ever in the history of Nigeria. Aside that, there are so many women that are employed in his cabinet, in terms of commissioners, head of agencies, political aides, and all of that.
Your mandate we shall stand. On your mandate.
Women say they are ready to ride on Tinubu's mandate. Indeed, he has promised to reserve several senior government positions for women when sworn in, saying he also plans to increase women's participation in government to at least 35% of all governmental positions.
Amen to increasing women's participation in government. Now, that was a report by Sam Olikoya, reporting from Nigeria.
Yeah, I think it's also a very good move. I mean, if it's just not going to be talking it, but actually walking it, because there were some reports that in the recent held elections, some women
had to drop out.
Had to drop out because, due to fear of intimidation here and there. And so creating an environment where women can really participate in showing what they can do.
They can do it.
It's a great move. So let's see how that works out. Now, while there is a lot to celebrate when it comes to the achievement of women, there are also many challenges that women continue to face. Gender equality is 300 years away. Those are not my words. That's what Secretary General Antonio Guterres from the UN recently said. Women still have a harder time accessing work than men.
Wow. And Eddie, the difference is much bigger than previously assumed. According to a new UN report, 15% of working age women globally would like to work but do not have a job, compared to 10.5% of men. For more on this, DW's Mona Vestholt spoke to Mejabin Alarkia, the policy advisor for UN Women's Economic Empowerment in East and Southern Africa. She starts by telling us the situation on the continent.
The situation in sub-Saharan Africa is similar, where you will see a higher unemployment rate or a rate of women looking for work than for men. So we see a similar trend there, and we also see a similar trend when we look at young women and young men in sub-Saharan Africa.
So it's pretty average in comparison to other regions?
Yes, that would be correct.
Last year's Global Gender Gap report shows that gender parity in labor force stands at 62.9%, which is the lowest score it has ever been since the index exists. But in sub-Saharan Africa, the situation for women is actually improving. What are they doing better than other regions?
So I think in sub-Saharan Africa, there is more and more of a recognition that women can work and women are able to contribute to the economy. Generally, I think there is more of a recognition that women are able to work, women should be able to work, whether it's in the formal economy or the informal economy. And this is possibly the beginnings of the change that we're seeing here, the change in the mindset that women can be economically empowered, economically active.
Mm-hmm. So let's take a closer look at Rwanda. It is in the 6th place in the gender gap ranking. They have the highest amount of women in parliament worldwide and a high participation of women in the labor force. How did the women in Rwanda accomplish this?
So in Rwanda, it's a bit of a unique situation, but it has been leadership from the top. That the change in mindset has been something that even President Kagame has been very vocal and persistent on, where he says he has been a champion and wanting to see the change. And this is also now reflecting in the society. So you see that the women's leadership in parliament is one of the indicators. And as you said, women's participation in the labor force is the other. And you see this also sort of resonating through other sectors in society.
And how can other nations accomplish the same?
So I would say it's a mix of a few different things. One, I think, is that the leadership from the very highest level is important in changing the narrative and the rhetoric and encouraging the women to come into the space, and also encouraging other leaders at local level in business and private sector to also, encourage women to come into that space. And I think the other is really to promote the younger women as they come in, to take on roles of leadership, but also to take on roles where women are generally not seen in that society, because we need to see women coming into those spaces. And that might be in parliament, it might be in private sector leadership, it might be also in women in digital economy, or in the STEM professions, as we say, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, etc. And really to promote women to go into those, to support them, and to have the sort of shift in mindset also to have women in these spaces.
Thank you for your insight on this topic, Mejabin, and happy Women's Day to you.
Happy Women's Day to you too, and to the rest of the team.
Thank you very much. I'll take it on behalf of all the women in my life. That was DW's Mona Vestholt speaking to Mejabin Alarkia, a policy advisor for UN Women in East and Southern Africa. A key thing that she said, Josie, which I also saw you nodding to, was similar to what we heard from the Tinubu piece earlier, talking about a case study of Rwanda, for instance, how much there's a lot of women participation in politics, in government and all. And she said one key reason is that the leader, the overall leader, the president, is encouraging that, and that is very important.
Yeah. I honestly, I give so much respect to Rwanda because I think I forgot the percentage, but there's a lot of women in his cabinet, and that is one key thing I respect about President Paul Kagame, and I wish to see that happen in many other African countries, especially 65%. Thank you so much. Isaac Mugabe is in the studio, so he just told me 65% of women are in his cabinet, and from President Bola Tinubu, as he takes over, cabinet in Nigeria, I hope and I pray that he actually encourages this as well to happen.
Yeah. Now, as we're talking about or celebrating International Women's Day, we have a particular story that has been making waves on social media that we want to bring to your attention. We were basically asking, what is there to celebrate on International Women's Day in your country? And we're already getting some comments coming through. In Uganda, here's what happened. Police have arrested a group of women who were protesting against the continued detention of their husbands. The women said it was meaningless to celebrate International Women's Day without their partners.
Now, rights groups have accused Ugandan authorities of arbitrary detention of hundreds of government critics. The question was, do you think that the government was justified in arresting the protesting women? And Latum says if they broke the law must take its course.
Then Caroline Atinyo says in Uganda, it's only torture, kidnap, and arrest. Husbands are locked, so there's nothing to celebrate for me as a Ugandan woman.
And Aliyu MLF says, for which reason is the government arresting women? Government should respect what they are demanding or just free their husbands.
Yeah, there are a lot of strong voices in support of women as we are celebrating International Women's Day. Lambert NGPC says, Happy International Women's Day to all special women. Ali Wadi Agali says, listening live from Cordoba in Spain. And let's hear your thoughts on how you think women can be celebrated on a day like this. You're still listening to DW's Africa Link program.
And I'm Josie Mahachi. We appreciate to have you around. And in case you're just joining us, remember, we are live on our Facebook page, DW Africa. We also appreciate everyone who's tuned in through all our partner stations across the continent. This is DW's Africa Link. Now, coming up in the next few minutes, we find out how South African women are breaking gender stereotypes through skating.
It's just a feeling that I saw, and also growing with an older brother who used to love skating. It's just the feeling that brought me into loving it, and that's why I was so obsessed with it. That's how I followed the skate girl.
Yeah, looking forward to that story. We'll be back in detail shortly. Still on celebrating our women, one woman in Liberia has taken on the task of helping to keep people like them healthier.
Yes, Amanda Jala Ajami is a nutritional therapist and young entrepreneur with a big dream to help a country reduce obesity and hypertension. DW's Evelyn Pade caught up with her in Monrovia.
It's a busy weekday in Monrovia and it's lunchtime. Joanne Ockerbach's nutrition food attracts dozens of customers who have changed their eating goals. It is not one of the typical local Liberian food joints. 30-year-old Amanda Jala Ajame is not just giving people food, but she's helping people to live.
Eat well, be well. So this vision started as a personal experience 5 years ago. When I had my second daughter, I got really overweight. That was the highest weight I have ever been. Right away, I knew I had to do something about it.
Then she got to find the right answers to her problems.
I started searching and then I came across an online school. I saw a course called Advanced Clinical Weight Loss and started practicing on myself. Whenever I read something, I would go practice in my kitchen. I started cutting off the sugar, the white flour, pastries as a whole. That was the beginning.
Since that day, Amanda has never rested on her laurels. She has set a short-term goal that at least 10,000 people struggling with bad eating habits and obesity that desire a change to live healthier.
In 2021, we opened a nutritional cafe on the UN Drive. It's a health and wellness business, and we're dedicated to providing the highest quality of healthy food options to Liberia.
What Amanda started in her attempts to find solutions to her overweight is becoming a movement. Asmina Sharif could not hold back how helpful Amanda's nutritional food has been for her for the last 3 years.
You know, during COVID, we had a thing where everyone shut in and you're trying to figure out how you're going to get meals. So I started just slowly with smoothies, and she would prepackage all the meals for you for that week. So I don't have to think about what I'm going to eat next.
For Sheikh Goodwill Lagufree, another of Amanda's customer, becoming regular visitor of Johann Ogaber has been worth it.
When I first made my entry, that was, I think, literally 2 years ago. I had this big stomach, too much fatigue and all of that. But with the help of what is prepared here, is completely diet-driven. So I have some relief in belly weight loss.
Amanda's nutritional food survey is beyond just eating. Regularly, she tracks the progress of her clients based on their consent.
So in the beginning, we do a consultation. We do your weight, your height, everything, because we don't just want to ask questions and write numbers down. So we take our numbers so that we can track your progress. So once we do that, every 2 to 3 weeks, we follow up and we keep tracking until we can get to your desired weight goal.
In Liberia, the majority of the population eat rice. Rice is the country's staple. A day without a bowl of rice for a typical Liberian is almost as if they have not eaten for an entire day. Getting on diet can be somewhat a tough journey, but others who make that decision, like Ben Todman, have overarching rewards.
The food comes pretty fast. The nutritional aspect, my results, probably lost about 30 pounds. But I exercise as well, but I've lost 30 pounds.
Most Liberian small businesses struggle to last longer due to the lack of sustainability. But for Amanda and her team, they've been instrumental in establishing a farm, which they then use to supply their nutritional food kitchen.
Evelyn Pade with that report.
Now, Eddie, women keep breaking barriers in different ways. Now to South Africa, where Girls Skate South Africa, a community organization operating throughout the country with its headquarters in the thriving Johannesburg metropolitan, was founded in 2015 by Shane Jacobs.
Now, the movement started to reduce the feeling of intimidation encountered by females in the male-dominated industry. Now, skateboarding has also developed into a youth subculture that emphasizes creativity and individuality. Here's Eunice Wanjiru narrating a report by Derek Mazarura.
Girls Skate South Africa rolled onto the scene in 2015 and has been shredding gender stereotypes ever since. As organizer for Girls Skate South Africa, Sean Jacobs explains skateboarding has grown popular across South Africa's cities and more girls are grabbing their decks and hitting the skate parks.
Girls Skate South Africa is a community organization where we empower women. I think skateboarding is changing the lives of girls from different communities by having sessions like these where girls join together in a male-dominated sport.
And one of the skaters, Taro, tells us how she got obsessed with skating.
It's just a feeling that I saw, and also growing with an older brother who used to love skating. It's just the feeling that brought me into loving it, and that's why I was so obsessed with it. That's how I followed the skate girl.
Skateboarding isn't just about the thrill. On the flip side, it's about defying the odds and building an independent, confident identity. Some of the girls, like Imo Green, come from unstable homes, and the skate park offers not just a place to land a kickflip, but also a sanctuary.
I'm a female skateboarder, and being a female has been so challenging in this sport, in this industry, because mostly you don't find girls doing it.
When my parents got a divorce, my mother, she's bipolar, so like the things me and my siblings went through, like it was tough, guys. Like staying with a bipolar person, you guys, like people don't know what we go through as kids witnessing our parents.
They have childhood traumas, they come from a broken family. You know, when you grow up and you start bottling things up, when I get to skate, it makes me feel better about myself as an adult.
Agile, quick and eager to learn, these girls have taken to skating. With its emphasis on inclusivity regardless of background and orientation, Girls Skate South Africa has given members like Imo, Taro and Melissa a sense of belonging. In fact, skateboarding has given them a full 360 perspective.
So I'd be like, whatever I want, I can actually get. It's more like skateboarding is a motivation to me.
It really empowers me as a female. It makes me feel so in control, I guess.
I've seen girls improve with skating. and you make friends. Like, skaters are very social people.
Rolling alongside are skater boys who are only too pleased to see girls dropping in on the sport. Skateboarding has added prestige too, since making its debut at the 2020 Summer Olympics in Japan.
I never thought like skateboarding would be for guys only. I also thought like girls can have a structure in skateboarding. Like they have style in beauty in everything they do. If they added that in skating, it would be a nice thing.
For now, it's calculator skater as the talented girls Melissa and Imo take over the halfpipes. And they're not leaving anyone out.
I don't see age, I don't see your background. I want to see you as a person and what you have to offer. And that's what all of us, we all have something to offer.
You know, you got this, woman power. You can do whatever you put your mind into.
Thanks, Eunice Wanjuri, for narrating that report by Derek Mazarura. Now, still on our day, Eddie, this year's theme speaks to me in many ways. Embrace equity.
Yeah.
Many may believe that it's good to have equity. However, it is important to note that it is a must-have. For a society to grow, we will have to have an increased focus on gender equity.
I mean, I couldn't have said it better. I don't know what I can add. I think it's even weird to talk about this in 2023, talk about genders being equal, because indeed, as human beings, we all are equal. But let's take time to appreciate the driving forces of the world. Without them, our existence is impossible, or it's challenging. Having said that, we also got messages from prominent figures in the world. We start with a message from our very own boss, the head of English Africa, Assumpta Latus.
The time for talks and complaints on how people in our societies see and treat women is long gone. It's time now to act and be what the world has been missing until now, by doing the very right thing, and that is leaving our comfort zones and stop making excuses.
That was our own boss, head of English Africa here at DW, Assumpta Latus. Now, another message we got on Twitter was from the President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu. She says, Happy International Women's Day to all women. We thank you for your extraordinary contributions that hold our societies together. Let us continue supporting and investing in women. A society where women have equal access to opportunities is an ideal one for us all.
Very true. Dr. H.G. Gangop, who's the President of the Republic of Namibia, also said, and I quote, as a nation, we made progress in gender equality with women occupying important decision-making and management positions in many sectors. But International Women's Day is a sharp reminder about the need to redouble our efforts towards the goal of gender equality.
And President of the Republic of Rwanda, Paul Kagame, says salute to all women in Rwanda and globally on this important day. We are with you in this gender equality struggle in its real sense.
And let's go to the Director General of the World Trade Organization, who said, wishing all the beautiful, hardworking women and girls of the world a wonderful International Women's Day. May your dedication to family, community, work, country, and the globe never be taken for granted. May our men always appreciate you. Thanks to all my women and girl followers.
That was Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala there. And Sima Bahus, Executive Director of UN Women, says our vision of equality, of what our world could be for all of us, can and will include the equal enjoyment by women and girls of the fruits of technology and innovation. The future of technology must be a future of equality.
Yeah, those are some messages from leaders around the world, and there are many more coming through on social media platforms. But hey, Josie, we're wrapping up the show.
What message you have for me?
Well, I think you're a powerful person. I think you're smart, you're intelligent, and you're a go-getter. Yeah, no tears here.
Can I have some tissues?
But I sincerely wish that it shouldn't be just one day to celebrate you as a woman, or Mona, who's in the studio, or our very own boss, Assumpta Latus, or Kerry Ngushinado, or Eunice Wanjiru, or, Wanjiku Mwaura. I mean, I can go on and on with all the beautiful, powerful, strong ladies we have. wishing you all a happy International Women's Day.
Thanks, Eddie. We appreciate you all, our men. You make it happen. Now, on that note, my name is Josie Mahachi. Until tomorrow, take care.
And I am Eddie Micah Jr. Have a good one.
DW. Made for Minds.